Good morning and welcome to Fat Cow Farm. Peter here. Now we're looking at the update for July, and like previous in June, we're sort of down to around about that 20%. And basically we were just really struggling with getting things up and running. The weather has just been terrible, and even in the high tunnel hoop house here, as you can see me, we've got some greens and things like that going on, but certainly not enough to sustain what we've really got going on in the homestead. So great things have come about it though, and so now that it's still cold in the mornings, but the temperature inside the hoop house now is now getting up to around about 26 degrees. So spring is certainly on its way, and as you can see, you know, we've got blue skies. You can see through the carbon, the polycarbon there, and so we're now ramping up, and so we've decided to sort of come on through and give the hoop house here a real big clean up and start getting our seedlings ready, and we'll do our first hit in here, and then hopefully by the time that the weather actually does turn and give us some decent warmth, then we'll start planting out. Now we've got the garden beds in the chicken coop ready to go, so they're just resting at the moment, and then basically what we'll do is we'll use everything that we've got in here to get us through. And we're probably, now that weather's turned, we're looking at, you know, getting up again, hopefully close to around about 30 to 40%. But you know, these are the trials and tribulations of doing these exercises. Because what we have noticed is that you certainly need to harvest as much as you possibly can over those summer months. And you know, we're pretty much down to, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 jars of tomatoes, and potatoes are getting a bit thin, and you know, and all those sort of things, and all our canning that we've done with you know, carrots and cucumbers and capsicums and things like that, which are good, but they're not sustainable foods. They're almost condiments that you would have them with something else. So yeah, so look, you know, I think that it's really one of those sort of scenarios that we're looking at, and which is great. Huge learning curve, an absolute massive learning curve. And so we know that this year we're going to have to plant out a lot more, and we'll probably get close to around about three beds in our chicken coop for produce, so that we can really kick that going off nice and strong. All right, so what we'll do is we'll have a bit of a look in the chicken coop, and with our prepared beds ready to rock and roll. So I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are in garden bed number 2. So as you can see, we've got our beds ready to rock and roll, and we've mulched these up pretty high. These ones have been pretty much like this now for about a week or so, and so this will all be ready to sort of come through and then plant out. So that's all cool. So we're looking at a big harvest on this one there, and then what we'll do is we'll just go over to the other side, and we've just been mucking around with that big weather that we had a couple of weeks ago. I thought I'd quickly race in, because we're sort of really gagging out for some real proper carrots and things like that we've run out of, and all that sort of stuff. So we did some quick planting, and they've come up really fast. So I'll show you what's going on there. All right, so we'll go over to number 5. So I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are in number 5, and you can see the carrots running along there. So it's funny when you've got those cravings of certain fruit and vegetables that you're really hanging out for. And for us, we really missed the proper taste of carrots, and especially in my carrot cake as morning tea. So just love it. So these guys are now ready to be thinned out, and they're only 2 weeks old. So that's all ready to rock and roll. This one's a bit messy. We've sort of just let it go a little bit, but we're sort of just working with what's left over. We've got some red cabbages still This is one of the last harvests that we had. I don't know how we'll go on these. I don't think that they will produce much at all now that the weather's warming up. But certainly for the carrots there, so they're ready for thinning, and then hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll have proper carrots again. So, or yeah, within a month. So can't wait for that. All right, I'll flip this camera around. So I'll see you soon. All right, so look, it's been one of those sort of interesting sort of scenarios. Now that we're getting through winter, and we've got one more month to go, and it has been an absolute massive learning curve. And what we're certainly finding is that we thought we had preserved enough, canned or putting them in the glass jars with Vicola and pressure sealed everything. Nowhere near enough. And so, these are the trials and tribulations of doing these exercises. And thank God of the big 3 supermarkets, I tell you. But we're still making our own breads and all those sort of things, and so everything's not totally lost. And but as a part of fresh produce, I really, my hat goes out to those who do it right. And it must have taken so long to get your numbers spot on, and having excess after that winter period. But, like as first timers, we are super struggling. But that's good, so, we know what to do for next year now. And so we're going to be spending a lot more time in the hoop house and get that up and running, and get our early spring vegetables in, so that we're not, well, basically so we can harvest ASAP, and we'll be putting in our staples like peas and beans and corns and lettuces and cucumbers and things like that. So, we'll get some more eggplants in there, and back to those big staples, which can make meals, rather than just using little bits and pieces that we have to add into something else. And look, and that's still a benefit, but they're not meals. And so that's what we're finding at the end of the day. But look, like I said, huge, massive learning curve. And now that the winter is as well, I'm not going to say it's broken. We've still got a month to go because the mornings are super cold still. And, like now the sun's out, but it's not super warm. And that's where the hoop house will come into its own. And so looking at after that and getting that temperature controlled, as you might have heard when we were in there, that the fans were already running, just putting a breeze back over everything. So the propagation season is about to start. So yeah, so everything's ticking on really well. And but like I said, we're down to around about that 20%. And for July, August is looking pretty much the same. It might even drop down to about 15. But now that we've got some, like I said, now that we've got that weather and then the seasons are slowly changing, we should be back up and running again and having some proper meals. And because what's funny, what the things that we're really missing is the taste. Absolutely, you might have a potato, or no, not potato, but let's say you might have something from the grocery store. Our food is so much better, and it tastes even, like everything about it is just the tastes, the density, like everything. It's just amazing. So, it's now that we've got that, and we've started, and we've got that bug to say, right, we're into this. When you do have to purchase something, mate, it's just not the same. It is not the same. So, but anyway, it's like we had to buy some eggs the other day. The girls have gone off laying, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll have some scrambled eggs. I'd rather wait. Hopefully that the girls start laying shortly again soon. So now that the sons are out and they're running around out in the pastures, but they're chasing bugs and all the things that they need to do. But and the green grass as well, so which is absolutely fantastic. But anyway, So all about 100% self-sufficient for the month of July, round about 20%. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.